to the key inquiry questions. Right, so here the answers. Eve Guavava says to improve teaching and learning. Mashojera, Anna Chiedza. Thank you, Anna Chiedza Mashojera. I'm glad I'm hearing your voice. Sometimes we only hear the usual culprits. So to assess progress, Gertrude Ndlovu says to ensure desired outcomes are met. Vare says to see whether said goals are met. Joelyn says to motivate the staff. Joy says to assess progress. Chapera Fungai says to check for standard compliance. Vim Tengwende says contribute to setting future priorities. Kumbirai says to assess progress. Matomula says in order to check if you are effective as a leader. I like that one. Muyambo Favor says to check on desired learner outcomes. Thorpe Nyamkuvengu says to find out whether we are on track with our program, etc. Awesome. Thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't read all of them, but they're all really useful. So let me just share with you some reasons we've got here. It doesn't mean these are exhaustive or these are the only ones, but they are important. It encourages an open door culture across the school. So if you've got a common, transparent way of monitoring and evaluating, it encourages an open door policy. It provides evidence to inform decision making, both strategic and operational. So instead of just making decisions at random or making decisions based on no credible factor, you can just use the evidence that you get from monitoring and evaluation. It increases understanding of the school's strengths and weaknesses. And when you appreciate your own strengths and weaknesses, you are more empowered to come up with effective strategies for going forward. It is essential for effective school improvement planning. So if you're going to improve things in your school, it's necessary, it's essential that you have monitoring and evaluation so that you can come up with effective school improvement. It provides evidence to celebrate success. Some people say nothing succeeds like success. So you can actually use the results of monitoring and evaluation to celebrate your successes. And you do have a responsibility to celebrate your successes because it motivates you to do the right thing. It identifies effective practice to share and improve others' practice. So you can see through monitoring and evaluation the practices within your school that are giving you the best results. And then you can share those with others and develop your own internal best practices. It focuses attention on student outcomes, both collective and individual. As you know, in education, bottom line is we want student outcomes to be achieved. So by engaging in monitoring and evaluation, you are focusing on student outcomes. It enables staff to be held accountable. So often when we get some kind of performance appraisal going on, there is this contention between the person being appraised and the person appraising them. And this contention can be reduced when there is a clear, transparent monitoring and evaluation system in place. Right, what else? Let me hear from any two people. You can unmute and speak or raise your hand. Any two people who've got something else to add over and above what we've put here. Who wants to share something? And I'm particularly interested in hearing people who have not yet raised their hand and spoken in these lessons. Who would like to share with us an additional point to add to what we already have in terms of the advantages or the reasons for monitoring and evaluation? Anybody coming through? I'm counting down from 10 up to 0. 10. Oh, yes. Team Machaka. Oh, my word. I thought Joelyn was on fire, but I think Machaka is on even more fire. Please unmute and speak to me, Mr. Machaka.
Okay, thank you. I think it also often generates reports that contribute to transparency and accountability. It also allows for lessons to be shared more easily. Thank you.
Fantastic. Allows lessons to be shared more easily, generates reports that lead to transparency and accountability. Thank you. One more person to share? Anybody else who wants to share? Somebody has their microphone open. I have identified who it is. All right. No, it's still open. Fungai Chapera, your hand is up. Please speak.
Yes, it's also important for the teacher's self-evaluation. It helps the teacher. If it is done properly, then the teacher can be able to self-evaluate himself or herself.
Wow, that is such an important point. Thank you very much. It allows the teachers to also self-evaluate. Last but not least, Munyaradzi Vurino Sara. Please speak.
I think Thank you very much. When we look at monitoring and evaluation, it also helps to see if the resources that are at hand are being used effectively or those that are lacking in such a way that if they are provided, then it can enhance the learning process.
Awesome. You raised a point that, I've been training this course for a while. I'd never really thought about that explicitly, that it helps in your resource management. You can check are your resources being used optimally or are your resources adequate through monitoring and evaluation. Okay, I'd say the last one, but Eve raised her hand, so I think we just have to comply. Eve, please unmute and speak. Eve Guavava, your hand is raised. Please speak to us. Unmute your microphone first.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Hello. It helps the leader to keep track what is happening within the school.
Fantastic. Thank you. It helps the leader to keep track on what is happening within the school. All right. May I ask you to do me yet another favor? You see, this is highly engaging, but still I want to move fast. So I'm giving you exactly 1 minute. Just write for me one word that comes to mind when you hear monitoring and evaluation. What words come to mind? What words are associated with monitoring and evaluation? Please write in the chat. I'm giving you 1 minute. I've set my timer. And when you hear the timer go, you know that the time is up. What word comes to mind? What are the words associated, positive or negative, right or wrong? But what are the words that come to mind when monitoring and evaluation is being discussed or when you hear the term monitoring and evaluation? So let me check in the chat. I think just for fun, let me ask my colleagues to read. Maybe Doc, you want to read for us what is coming out in the chat?
I am admitting people, so I might...
No problem.
People keep on following.
Maureen, are you able to read?
What's in the chat? We have Mildred saying tools, Umbirai, results, Bare, Rosai saying results, Chamuka, observe, Chipondozia, appraisal, Jolene Magapu, supervision, Joyce Kanegoni, supervision. Then Wilson, results. Then there's judgment, which ability. What is this?
Great. No, don't worry. I think for now those will do. It's fine for now. Thank you very much. Thanks. So as you can see, there are words that have positive connotations and some that have negative connotations associated with monitoring and evaluation. So we'll come back to that. But for now, let us look at our definitions of monitoring and evaluation. So you have just answered that, which words come to mind when you hear the terms. So for monitoring, we are saying monitoring is observing, watching, checking, tracking, scanning, examining. Okay? And then evaluation, it's to do with assessments, appraisal, judgment, gauging, rating, ranking, and analysis. So those are the terms that are synonymous with the word evaluation and also with the word monitoring. I hope you're comfortable with that. Let's go and talk a little bit more about monitoring. Right, so monitoring, you observe and check the progress or quality of something over a period of time. Monitoring looks at progress, both for individuals and the whole school. And with monitoring, we are gathering evidence to see if actions are making a difference. Monitoring also identifies effective practice to share, encourages open door culture, and monitoring identifies where improvements are needed. So that is monitoring. We're just delving a little bit deeper into monitoring there. Observe and check the progress or quality of something over a period of time. Look at progress, both for the whole school and for individuals. Gather evidence, identify effective practice, identify where improvements are needed. So in the same way, let's just unpack evaluation a little bit more. With evaluation, we spoke about making judgments about the amount of something. Evaluating uses evidence to consider, 1, whether students are making progress, 2, whether actions are having an impact, 3, where improvements are required, 4, where improvements occur over time, for example, from 1 year to the next. Now, in your own words, once again, hit the chat. Tell me, what is the difference between the term monitoring and evaluating in your own words? Not in my words, not in the words from a textbook, but in your own words. How would you describe in one sentence or one short phrase the difference between monitoring and evaluating? Once again, I'm giving you 1 minute. Tiri kumanya. Right, you got 30 seconds to go. Difference between monitoring and evaluation in your own words. Difference between those two terms. You're supposed to type that in the chat if you've just joined us. Right? Matomula Nare says, in monitoring you are checking, while in evaluation you are judging. Wow. You are profound. You are knowledgeable. Rosemary says, monitoring is much of observing, while evaluating now judges. Rosemary, you rock. Right. Tariro says, monitoring has more to do with observation, evaluating has to do with complete assessment. Thank you, Tariro. You are adding a very interesting angle. Chirume Jeva says, monitoring focus on action, while evaluation focus on the effect of an action. Ooh, that is insightful, my brother. Well done. Thank you. Chamuka Teredere says, monitoring is checking progress, evaluation is making a value judgment. Eve says, monitoring is a process and evaluation comes at the end. Joelyn says, monitoring is all about checking and progress is something like evil there. Something you judge, right? Practical impact is equal to monitoring. Oh, this is a person of few words. Who is this? Nara. Yeah. Practical monitoring equals monitoring. Results equal evaluation. Practical impact. Monitoring is a process that leads to better evaluation. Munyaradzi, oh my word. Yeah, you've got quite a different way of looking at things, but it's succinct. You know, you just, in very few words, you're summarizing an essential aspect of the two. And Tima Machaka says, monitoring is continuous assessment, evaluation is an examination concerning relevance. Machaka, today you are serious, Baba. Too serious. So, moving on, what is clear is that when we monitor and evaluate, we have reports, we generate information, so you might have a process that makes sure a certain report is done based on certain criteria. Here's my next question. What do you do with the monitoring information you collect? I think we've done enough typing. I want to hear your voices, but I'll take only 2 people, once again, in the interest of time. Who would like to share with us? What do you do with the monitoring information you collect? Lamachaka, your hand is up, but I think it's an old hand. So the first 2 people to raise their hands after Mr. Machaka were Munyaradzi Vurinosara and Gertrude Ndlovu. So let's hear from those 2. Ladies first, Gertrude, please unmute and share with us.
Decision making.
You use that information for decision making. Thank you, Gertrude. Appreciate it. Munyaradzi Vurinosara. Please unmute and share.
We use the information collected in a process that would help you to try and find whether you have to terminate the process or you have to continue the process and help those where need to thank you for